by some other means, or some influential people by using their influence and all may come to the leadership position, and they try to lead, or they may follow some autocratic style of leadership. We will come to see what is that type of leadership, and we will not find any kind of collegial atmosphere or discussion forum in institutions. These people actually, they are coming out with policies, and they are asking us to implement those policies. So that's why nowadays, because of this, because of the absence of collegial governance process, or because of the emergence of a new managerialism, today we are seeing universities, and these universities are popularly called as entrepreneurial universities. Entrepreneurial universities, their aim is to make or maximize profit, or to attain certain thing which they are not least bothered about the society or societal considerations, or they're not particular about inclusiveness, but they are working like a corporate entity to attain certain gains. This is actually the thing. So academic leadership means action, any action taken by a leader. The leader in an academic institution, we know, in a college, even teacher can be a leader. HOD, head of the department, can be a leader, or principal can be a leader, or even college, universities and all HODs are there, even registrars, even controller of examination, other statutory officers are there, registrar, controller, finance officers. Then above that, vice chancellor and vice chancellor. So they are actually people who are leading an academic institution, and they are also trying to motivate different stakeholders, particularly teachers and students. Through this motivation, they will be able to work in line with the policies, and finally that results accomplishment of institutional goal. That is actually academic leadership, and they are actually trying to motivate and support others towards a whole vision. So every institution is having a vision, and these leaders will motivate the students and teachers and other stakeholders, including PTA members, alumni members, and all. And these leaders definitely should support these people, and ultimately, they are all doing this exercise to attain the vision of the institution. And what is actually the difference between managers and leaders? See, managers, their aim is to accomplish a particular task, and they will do certain managerial principles. We will come to see this, what are all the principles or functions of managers in order to accomplish a particular task. But leaders, of course, their role is something different. Managers, they should be motivators. See, managers, they should support the team. Their aim is to accomplish the ultimate vision of an organization. So in that sense, we are calling them as they are actually all the principles who are leading managers. Leaders are actually leading people. There are leaders, of course, they are leading people different, but managers are actually managing for a particular task or task assigned to them. So in that respect, vision of the concept to lead, in that sense, we are big, broad concept. They are actually and manager is under leaders are actually, or managing the concept of leading management is very big. Managers are actually managing. His aim is very clear. A particular task, or he is being assigned a particular task, and he is doing certain things to accomplish that task. But the leader's role is something different. He should try to lead the group for accomplishing what's the ultimate goal of the organization. And also coming to this, what we call this leadership styles. See what are the functional areas of a leader. If you are going to this picture, we can very well see. So they are actually guidance. They are coming out with the solutions, or they are helping to come out with the solutions. Then goal, they are people who are setting goals. Then the important thing is they are actually motivators. They are motivating people. Then communication is also very important between Then only that is actually the point which I stressed is the beginning. That is collegial. That means the different stakeholders in the organization will have to come together, will have to sit together, will have to discuss matters, and will have to accept suggestions, or if there is any correction is need to be made, that will have to be made. So this type of communication from top to bottom or bottom to top, this is very necessary. Not only formal but also informal communication is also the order of the day. Then we have to, the leaders should have a plan, and he should always do all these activities with the vision of the organization in mind. Then he will be what? Directing people to accomplish the vision. So these are all the quality sets or traits of a leader actually. So the point is, a leader should have so many skill sets or qualities. Then only he can motivate, then only he can support, then only he can influence what? People under him. So that is a point which I wanted to stress regarding what? Leadership. Okay. Hello, have you got it? Have you got it?
Yes, sir.
Are you getting?
Yes, sir.
If you find any
Yes,
issue in between, if you find any issue or if you want any clarification in between, you please ask. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then next is actually regarding what? Different leadership styles. See, in our organizations, in our colleges or in our universities, we are seeing what? So many leaders are there. Our HOD is a leader. Our principal is a leader. Then in the universities, vice chancellor or pro vice chancellor, registrar or controller, everyone is considered as a leader. So these people, we are seeing what these people in different way, and we are also telling about these people. Okay, that person is very good. He is discussing matters with us. Other group may say that that person, we have also a leader, but he is not discussing any matter with us. He is always trying to impose certain things. So like that, we can find different types of leaders in corporate entities as well as academic institutions. See, one category is actually coach. Coach is one category of leader or leadership style. That is, they are actually people who are motivating. Always they will motivate what their subordinates. And they will give necessary direction and support. They will act like a coach. So another category is visionary. Visionary means he is very much focused. He is focused to a particular vision or a mission, and he will be inspirational, and he will give a necessary direction for accomplishing this vision or mission and all. He's a visionary leader. And another category are servant leaders. Servant leadership is he is very humble, but he is very accessible, and he is protective, and he will give necessary direction, and he will be like a servant. So he is the leader, but he will behave like a servant, and he will be very polite, and he will be very humble, and he will be discussing matters, and based on that he will be taking decisions. Then another category is there, autocratic leaders are there. Autocratic leader is authoritarian in nature, and they are actually focusing on result, and we cannot find much consultation among this particular people. They are very much focused, and they want to attain something, and the accessibility is not there. And these autocratic people are having complete freedom to take decisions, and they may use their intuitions, their information, their idea in decision making. They will not have much control over their activities. They are actually the people who can take decisions. That is autocratic. And we will come to see another leadership, that is bureaucratic leadership. That is just opposite actually. We will come to that. So another category is the laissez-faire leaders. Laissez-faire leaders is actually autocratic in nature, but it's delegatory. So they will be focusing on the result, and they will be taking decision in their own way, but they will delegate. They will try to delegate authority to his subordinates. Thereby, the burden, he will be able to reduce the burden through this delegation. That is a another category. This is actually laissez-faire. Everywhere we are discussing about laissez-faire policy and all. Then democratic category is there. Democratic category leaders, of course, they are very supportive, and they always try to come out with innovative ideas. Okay, and they will discuss matters with us, and they will take our ideas, and if that idea is good, that they will try to implement it, or they are ready to what, make a necessary correction. If we are giving them an idea and that is acceptable, definitely they will what, try to implement those things. That is a democratic thing. Then pace setter leadership is also there. Pace setter means they are motivational, they are very helpful. They are very helpful. Then next leadership is the most important leadership that we are talking today. That is called a transformational leadership. Transformational leadership, they are very challenging and what, communicative. The point is they will work with what, subordinates, or their what, their subordinates means what, the people under them. They will work with their people under them. They will carry out the activities along with what, subordinates, and they will take care of their subordinates. They will consider their viewpoints, and they will work as a team. So suppose a team is there, suppose a HOD of a particular department who will work, who along with others work as a team. So through this we will be able to accomplish what, first. He will not dictate terms and conditions and all. Of course, everyone is knowing that he is the leader, and naturally we will obey him, but he will be giving us what, maximum freedom, and he will be hearing us, and accordingly he will be ready to what, implement the changes if you are suggesting it, if it will be what, good. Then transactional is there. Their transactional leaders, they are always focusing on what, performance. They are always focusing on performance. So they want to accomplish a result, and they want to accomplish the result well before, or they want to what, spend the amount less than that of the standard, like that. Then last one is bureaucratic. Bureaucratic means they are actually working based on certain rules and regulations. Then they are trying to follow the hierarchy, and they will not accept what, the points raised by what, the lower person in the hierarchy. So they will try to follow the order in the organization. They will follow all the rules and regulations of the organization, and they are working with established rules, procedures, and regulations, and they will always look what, the hierarchical order, and just immediate subordinate if he is giving them, then they will accept it, and the other subordinates or the person who are in the bottom, if they are coming out with an idea, they will say that you just tell to our immediate superior, like that. This is actually what, bureaucratic type of leadership. These are all the different types. Of course, if you are going through different literature and all, you can find another category of leaders, leadership styles. So while seeing this, you can find what, certain type of leaders. So you can say that, okay, you can say that, sir, my HOD is what, is a transformation leader, or you can say that my principal is autocratic in nature, or you can say that my vice chancellor is what, very democratic. So like that, by seeing what their attitude, by seeing their way of approach, by seeing their delegation, by seeing their attitude, we can find different types of leaders, and these leaders may be, our leaders may be, or we can categorize our leaders under any of what, these categories. That is the point regarding leadership styles, leadership styles. And today we are talking about what, value-based leadership. So the leadership should be value-based. See, what is value-based means? Value-based leadership resists a coherence in the organization. That's the point. Value-based leadership gives a coherence. That means if you are going to be a leader, or if you are acting as a leader, or if you are placed as an HOD or another principal in a college, we try to follow value-based leadership. That means we will have to take care of all people coming under us. Then we should try to work as a team, and we have to create interpersonal behavior. That means we'll have to create a positive relationship with others, and we'll have to treat people equally and give maximum support to them, and we'll have to have a fairness with others, should not isolate a person or a group, and we should be ready to accept our mistakes. If we are doing any kind of mistake, we should be ready to accept those mistakes. Then we'll have to accept the responsibility. If there is any kind of faults on our part, we'll have to accept that mistake, or we'll have to say sorry if our action creates any problem to someone. Then organizational leadership means we should be ethical. We should be ethical, and if a particular thing, sometimes it may give short-term benefits. If you are doing it unethically, should not do that. We will be doing ethical things, even if in the short run we won't get benefit, but in the long run we will get benefit. So that type of leaders are actually considered as value-based leaders, and we should have value-based leaders too, or we should be value-based all the time. That is a point with regard to leadership. So if you have any query regarding the points which we discussed about leadership, you please ask. See, I told you, teachers are actually leaders. Don't think that our responsibility is to teach a particular area, or to complete a particular portion, or to complete a particular period or something like that. No, we should consider ourselves as the leaders, and leadership of an institution is not just a duty actually, but it is an obligation. See, the last in this slide I have given a note here, that is a leadership is actually an obligation. Should not consider it as a duty. So see, I have so many duties. So as a principal, my duty is very, very high. So I cannot leave office. I have to sit up to 8 o'clock. I have to sit at 7 o'clock. So we are hearing this type of complaints from certain HODs and certain teachers, and even certain principals. No. You have to consider it as a privilege, and you should not consider it as a duty, and you have to consider it is our obligation. So we are actually people who are the social engineers, and we will have to have the responsibility to protect the economy, or ensure the development of economy. So we are actually the people who are trying to create good quality among children, and we have to inculcate some skill sets. Then only they can go for some good employment. Then only they can generate return. Then only economy will flourish. So that type of attitude should be needed. So we should not consider it as a duty. In most of the cases, what we are seeing is most of the people will say it as a duty. My duty is heavy. I have so many duties, responsibilities. So it is overburdened. So I cannot concentrate on things. No. You should consider it as an obligation. Then teachers, role of teachers in higher education institution development is very, very, very high. See, Rabindranath Tagore, a famous poet, he once said, the primary task of a society is to find a real teacher, one who performs his duty with perfection and dedication, and is a perfect moral example for the society. So this is actually the viewpoint of all, not Rabindranath Tagore alone. So this is actually, the society is actually expecting something from a teacher. Okay. So we should be a good teacher all the time, of course, and we should be a good facilitator, and we should motivate people, and we should be duty bound with the precision or perfection, and we should be committed and dedicated and perfect moral example for the society. Apart from that, as a teacher in a higher education institution, we must understand one important aspect, that institution building is nothing but nation building. Institution building means nation building. That's the point. If you are a leader in a particular institution, as a teacher, or as an HOD or a principal, If you are building your school in a better way, or if you are nurturing your school to accomplish the vision, if all the principals or all the colleges are doing this practice, actually what? That's research national building. That's why we are saying that every house, if every house is being properly managed, then if all the houses are managing like this, that results what? That results the development of a country or a nation. That's why we are saying that that's why we are talking about women empowerment and all. Because if women are being educated or are given proper freedom or are financially what sound, I mean financially okay, or financial status is improving, normally she will be able to what manage the house properly. And that management what? That management, if every housewife or a mother is managing house properly, that is what? Accomplishment of what? Or that is economic development, no doubt in it. The same way, institution building, we are saying that, okay, what can I do? So even if I am doing this, I can do only this. No, all the teachers should try to work together, should work as a team, should have some kind of coherence. And under what, suppose if a particular person is working as HOD, we will have to have what? The mindset to work under him. And if somebody is what is somebody among us is being posted as a principal, we will have what? The power to what? Work under him. That is actually a quality. And if we are all working under him, definitely that results what? We can find some change, positive change in the institution. And that positive change definitely results what? Accomplishment of what? The goal. And if all institutions are being able to accomplish this, definitely that is national building. That's why we are saying that institution building is nothing but national building. Higher education institutions contribute to the economic, social, and political upbringing of the society. That's why we are saying that we are actually social engineers. Not only by doing our activity, not only some change in the economy, I mean the behavior or attitude of the people, but also we are inculcating some skill sets. These skill sets enable them to earn income. And so the entire development of a society can be made through a higher education institute. And the teachers, of course, I told you, they are all considered as social engineers. They're actually the main actors in a higher education institution. They should be good leaders to co-workers, students, and to the institution itself. That's the point. These teachers should be leaders to the co-workers. We should give necessary direction. We should give help, and we should motivate what? Our co-workers. And we should motivate our children, students, and we have to help them. And also we will be what? We will have to give necessary suggestions or opinion to the institution as such. So that type of attitude should be created among what? Teachers. They have to make a partnership with what? Researchers. Nowadays, the teachers in higher education institutions are having some more responsibility. Because we are all teachers, not only our responsibility is teaching, we are also involved in what? Research. We are involved in publications. And these publications should be based on some ethics and should be genuine and based on a real problem. And you will have to work on it. And you will have to follow some methodology. And should not publish in some predatory or this, what do you call the unacceptable journals and all. We should do teaching and research very seriously. And we should be committed to what? Research. That research good papers, good publications. And also as a teacher, we will have to contact with we will have to have some tie-up with the industry or institution. And for that, we can use our exposure as well as the exposure of the institution as such. And we will, through these contacts or these publications, we will be helping what? The policy makers in one way or another way. So all our contributions or our papers should be helpful to the policy makers. So the question rises here. How many publications are being used by, how many of our publications are being properly used by these policy makers for taking their decisions? See, in government setup and all, universities are conducting n number of research in different area, in different discipline, and they are coming out with the different policy documents. But the question is, how many of these policy documents or how many of these publications or presentations are being used by what? These policy makers for taking decisions? So that's a question. So why these people are not using what? This research outputs of these institutions or individuals? See, nowadays, though we have a number of research institutions or universities conducting any number of research, government, while they are going for a policy decision, they are appointing an agency, outside agency, for what? Carrying out a study. These government institutions or governments are not depending what? The outcomes of the study conducted by what? Teachers or researchers in universities or colleges. Why? So it's actually a question. So why? Because of what? Because of the poor quality of this work and all. So there should be an introspection from the part of teachers that how many of us are doing what, approaching what, this type of research seriously. That's a question. That will have to be what? That will have to be what? We will have to have an introspection on that. So the aim of or the duty of a teacher should be what? He should try to partnership with what? Different research institutions, industry, and policy makers. Then every teacher must have a vision and mission of her own or his own, in addition to institutional vision and mission. Every teacher. Suppose if you are appointed as an HOD for a 3-year or 2-year, then you should try to what? To implement a signature, should have an idea in your mind, and you should try to implement it. You should try to implement it. Should not say, see, there is a financial crisis, there is these people are not cooperating, so I am just trying to complete my period and all. No. Once you are taking up a particular responsibility, you should what? Have a mark. There should be a signature in your name, and or a signature in your period. So that should be the aim of a teacher. Okay. So that type of attitude should be there. Once you are posted, a principal should not say it is my duty. No, it is a burden. No, should not think like that. You should say it is my obligation as a teacher or as a person who is receiving good salary from the government. So I will do what? My duty best, and I have these and these aspects in your mind, and by considering the vision of the institution, I will what? Try to implement it. So that should be the attitude of a teacher. So every teacher must have a vision apart from what? The vision of the institution, and you should try to what? Align what? Your vision with the institution. That is the point. So we teachers not only involved in normal teaching, but we will have to have some responsibility to do serious research, and we will have to have some responsibility towards what? Towards consulting, and we will have to have some responsibility towards what? Towards means we will have to work with the industry or policy makers, and we will share our intellectual personal intellectual capabilities as well as what? Institutional what? Capabilities, and through this we will be able to generate some return. So that is actually another responsibility of teacher. Teacher should try to generate some revenue to the institution. He should try to generate some revenue to the institution. If all the teachers are trying to do, definitely the institutions will be able to generate good return, because we can act as consultants, we can act as what? We can work as a guide, and we can what? Give necessary advisory services, and we can come out with the good publications, and we can come out with the patent. So in that way, we will have to what? Contribute economically also to the institution. This is while explaining this point, I can very well remember what the contributions made by teachers working in national level institutions like IITs and IIMs. So these people, teachers, of course, they are working throughout. I know some people, teachers who are working 24/7. So they are actually not only involved in teaching, they will be involved in what do you call the motivational activities of the students. Motivate they are motivating students, and they are undertaking number of projects for the institution. And of course they will be getting what some remuneration by undertaking this, but some amount will be going to the institution. So this amount can be used by the institution for the empowerment of the institution. If all the institutions are behaving like that, definitely that institution will flourish, and the accomplishment of one institution, or the development of one institution, if all institutions are behaving like this, or all teachers in that institution, or all leaders for that matter, are behaving like this, that results what the institution development. And as I said earlier, if all the institutions are what behaving like that, there is a overall accomplishment. See, we all know that government is being able to what this finance institution very much, because in India our contribution to GDP, our contribution to education with regard to GDP is very very less, and government cannot shed a huge amount of money for education. So that's why government or government agencies or academics are propagating that we teachers should involve in aggressive research, and good undertake good research projects, or some undertake some consultancy, thereby institutions will be able to generate return. So in that respect, teachers are having very good role, rather than a facilitator. They will have to what involve in almost all the academic activities of the institution as a leader, as the leader. Then one more point is to be discussed with regard to this academic leadership. That is, academic leadership, which traits matter. Normally, there is a question, sir, what should be that? Which trait is better, or which one will give more mileage, something like that. So, personality traits, of course, and leadership success or failure. That means personality traits, to some extent, research what the success or failure of a leader. If he is having good personality traits, definitely he can be a good leader. And if he is not having certain personality traits, he may fail. So we are seeing certain people who are miserably failed, or who miserably failed in certain responsibilities, or we can find certain people who made some signature in their name in the institution because of what certain personality traits. We identify, we know. In reality, we know some people who are all good leaders. That may be due to what certain personality traits. So, dispositional traits and proximal traits are there. Dispositional traits and proximal traits are there. Dispositional personality traits means motivation, energy, dominance, integrity, creativity, and charisma. These are all actually inherent in nature to some extent. We can refine it, but we cannot or make it through training or development. We can refine it, but these are all inborn in nature to some extent. Dispositional personality traits, motivation, energy. Some teachers never try to motivate. That motivation, that word motivation is not there. We cannot find the word motivation there in what dictionary. So that is we can find certain people, and some cases we cannot find energy in what some person. Some persons are very lethargic. They are not having any energy. They are not enthusiastic. Then dominance. Some people we can find some dominance. They may try to try to come out with a certain idea, and they may contribute something. They may try to dominate in the group. Integrity, it's of course needed. Creativity, then charismatic power is there. Some proximal traits are also there. Proximal traits means interpersonal skills, written communication skill, managerial skill, decision making skill. These things are actually what, to some extent, they are not inborn. That can be developed. through training and education, we can develop what those interpersonal communication or managerial or decision making skills. So dispositional traits tend to be more deeply integrated and more difficult to change, whereas most of us can adjust our proximal traits more easily as through what? Through education and training. So, and this is actually the argument put forward by the University of Georgia professor Brian. Brian and his colleagues came out with the research, and he is of the opinion that, of course, we can find two types of traits. Dispositional traits, of course, are inherent in nature, but proximal traits are there that can be inculcated. So, if you find that I don't have these and these proximal traits, then you can what? You can attend some training sessions, you can participate in what certain educational programs, thereby you will be able to what? Create. So if you could be able to inculcate these proximal traits, and of course dispositional, most of the cases we can find what is dispositional personality traits among people. So if you are trying to improve what is proximal traits, definitely you can be a good leader. Can be a good leader. So these are all actually the traits which a person should have. Then he can be a good leader. Okay, so this is actually the first part concerning what? Academic leadership. Academic leadership. So I will give you 1 minute time for asking questions. If you are not having any question, then we will proceed. You have any point? So we can I can give you 1 minute time for what? Discussion with regard to leadership. And if you can suggest some another attributes of leaders, or you can suggest some examples of good leaders, that can also be shared in this floor, please.
And now, in that case, the CNSP is not available. In that case, it means that the scheme has not been marked by the CSMS expert. So if we don't find a scheme in there,
see, are you with me? Are you with me?
then there is two possibilities.
Hello?
The scheme has
Yes,
not
sir.
been-
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Then you please ask
Yes,
some.
sir.
Please ask.
has not
Yeah.
matched the scheme.
Otherwise, what is the meaning in it? I am discussing certain aspects continuously, and you are all listening this. If you can contribute or if you can add something, it is better. You try to add. That is a learning too. Okay.
So you enter the unique code of the CNSP and search the unit. You ask them-
Any more points to share? No? Then another 10-15 minutes I will continue. Then we will go for a break. Okay. Yes. So next area we are discussing is higher education in India. See, higher education, of course, don't think that our position is better and all. No, because on this slide you can see this as per a QS World Ranking 2023. Only 3 institutions have secured a spot amongst what? The top 200 institutions across the globe. Only 3 institutions. Okay. So ISC, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and of course its rank is to 155, not 5, 6, 7, or 8. IIT Mumbai, then IIT Delhi. These are all, we can find only what? 3 institutions which found a place in what? QS University ranking 2023. Then, as per NIRF 2023, the best colleges in the country are concentrated in 9 of what? The 28 cities. So, of the 28 states, best colleges are concentrated in what? 9 states. So that means 19 states are not having best colleges, best institutions. Okay. So that means what? That means there is a wide regional disparity in higher education. That's a wide regional disparity in higher education. Some states are very affluent in terms of what? Higher education. Majority, 19 states are not having good education institutions.
They have to add the
So
skill language.
the children who are there are forced to study in the institutions, and if they are affluent, they can go to what, some other states or even outside the country. So thereby we are talking about inclusiveness and all, but that inclusiveness cannot be what, cannot be ensured if this disparity persists. So that's a point. Then in India, as per the latest available statistics, ASHI, All India Survey on Higher Education, for 1,113 universities, colleges almost 43,796 colleges, and 4.15 crore students in higher education, teachers 15.5 lakh. Then student to teacher ratio is 24. For every student, say there's only one teacher for what, 24 students. Then our GRE, gross enrollment ratio, between the age group of what, up to 18 and 23. See, see people who are in the age group of 18 and 23, only 27.3% are what, going for higher education. That is the gross enrollment ratio. So that means suppose there are 100 people who are in the age group of 18-23, only 27.3 are going for higher education. That is the meaning GRE, gross enrollment ratio. And the gross enrollment ratio of developed countries are more than 90, 95 and 93 are there. So our status is very clear. So in that respect, don't think that our higher education setup or scenario is not good. So we'll have to do a lot. So as a teacher, we have to have a good responsibility to what, improve the status of higher education in India. Then coming to higher education institutional classification, of course, we know we have central universities formed as per the Act of Parliament, and we have state universities like us. Then private universities are there. So many private universities are coming in. So that is actually a challenge to all of us, because if we teachers are not following as we discussed, then it will be a challenge, and they will try to lead the country, and that affects what, the existence of these state universities and central universities. Then deemed to be universities are also there. So of course they are not universities, but in recognition of their high caliber of education, granted the status of university. That's there. Then institution of national importance is also there. That is our IITs, IIMs, NITs, AIMs. These are all institution of national importance. So this is actually the categorization of what, institutions. Then coming into institutional framework for the higher education ecosystem in India. Institutional framework for the higher education ecosystem means here we have a number of controlling mechanisms. So institutions, some machineries are working here. These machineries will try to improve the quality of what, higher education. So we cannot undermine what their importance. They are all working hard for improving the quality of higher education, and for different disciplines. Of course, as per NEP and all that we will be discussing later. NEP, definitely these regulatory mechanisms, we cannot find any number of regulatory mechanisms. So this regulatory mechanism will be put under one head, National Education Commission and all. So now, right now we have a University Grant Commission, and they aim to ensure standards in what, university education. Then we have All India Council for Technical Education. They are actually people who are controlling or ensuring the quality of technical education in India. National Medical Commission is there. Earlier it was the Medical Council of India. Now it is National Medical Commission, NMC. Their aim is to ensure quality or affordable medical education and to create dedicated, good quality doctors. Bar Council of India is another agency which is actually setting standards for legal education. Then Indian Nursing Council is there under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. There is a National Nursing Council. This Nursing Council is controlling the standard of training of nurses and all. Then different accreditation and ranking agencies are also functioning here. So what is actually the difference between accreditation and ranking? See, we have accreditation agencies. Accreditation is actually, these agencies are giving us an absolute grade, say A, B, or something like that. But ranking is actually a relative one. So we will be given rank based on our certain parameters, and this rank will be given based on what? Based on the qualities of certain similarly situated institutions. So our institution will be compared with the other institution. Based on that, you will be given 5, 6, 10, 15, 20, like that. So that rank, and also this ranking is done periodically, usually 1 year. But in case of accreditation, this is done for a period, say 5 years, 7 years, something like that. And accreditation, if you are having a set of standard, okay, having a set of standard, you will be given a mark or you will be given a grade. Okay, just like a student who is writing an examination. So all students are writing examination. If they are writing things well, okay, they will be given 60%, 70%, 80% and all. So the rank is assigned based on what? Based on the merit of the students. First rank is given by considering see, one student will be given first rank. That is actually a relative one, and the second rank will be given. So that is actually a relative one that will be given to a student who is meritorious in that particular group or a class or for a particular program. This is actually the difference between ranking and grading. And for ranking and grading in India, we have a number of institutions. For accreditation and all, National Board of Accreditation, that is actually established by AICT in 1994. And through this different engineering colleges or their individual programs are being given accreditation. And that is for 2 years, that is for 3 years, 5 years, something like that. Then NAC, National Assessment Accreditation Council, is there. That was established in 1994. That is also an accreditation agency. So we are given a grade. Suppose we are securing 3.51, then we will be given A plus like that. So 3, and in between 3 and 3.5, then we will be given A plus like that. So this is actually this is say if our grade is 3.21 and above, up to 3.5, we will be given A plus. If it is 3 and 3.21, in between 3 and 3.21 and all, we will be given 1A like that. So that is actually a accreditation, that is a grading given by NAC. So NAC and NBA are all accreditation agencies. Then NIRF is actually National Institution Ranking Framework. That is actually, they are giving ranking. So that is functioning under the Ministry of Human Resource Development, and that was established in 2015. So of course, in Kerala University, we are all getting this NIRF ranking. Our ranking is 24 and all. So that is actually based on, see, our rank is 24 means we are in the 24th rank among universities in India. So like that, this is actually rank. This is relative. The other one is is the this accreditation is nothing but an absolute grade. Is an absolute grade. So that's about institutional accreditation. Then coming to this accreditation and the ranking bodies. Coming to accreditation and ranking bodies. So I told you about the NAC and all, and they are having 7 criteria. and they are assessing institutions based on what these 7 criteria, and based on that, the mark will be assigned to each criteria. Out of 1,000, the mark will be given, and of course, research innovations and extension. That is the third head and all. That's the third criteria, and this is actually the more important one for particularly for universities. And if the universities are getting good performance in this area, definitely they will be given what A++, or even A+, or A, like that. So then in NBA, National Board of Accreditation, under AICT, they are actually what? They are actually assessing the institution as such, as well as what different programs, and the program level and the institutional level accreditation is there. Then NIRF is there, that is actually a ranking. Of course, their ranking parameter is what? Teaching, learning, and resources. Then research and professional practices, graduation outcomes, then outreach and inclusivity, and peer perception. These are actually what? Peer perception means perception of the students about the institution, and perception of what? Recruiting, agencies or employers. So that will be taken into account. It is based on what these parameters institutions are giving what? Rank. And I told you, the ranking of Kerala University is 24. So that is based on what? This criteria. Then again, another ranking institutions are QS ranking. That is QS World University ranking. And here they are considering what these aspects: academic reputation 40% weight, employer reputation 20% weight, faculty student ratio 20%, and citations per faculty 20%. International faculty ratio or international students ratio is 10%. It is on this basis what this QS ranking is there. I told you, in India only 3 institutions came under what? This QS ranking within what? This 200. That is it. So we cannot what come into this, but the picture of what this QS ranking. Only 3 institutions came under this within what? 200 institutions ranked by what? Ranked as per QS World ranking. This is the most what do you call widely accepted ranking. Then the Times Higher Education Survey is there. Earlier Times it's a Time magazine that was working with the QS. Then in 1990, this 2009 onwards, they started what separate thing. Of course, they are claiming that they started in 2004. So they are using 18 key indicators across 5 areas: teaching, research environment, research quality, industry, then international outlook. It is on this basis that they are what? Giving rank. Then Shanghai ranking is also there now. That is purely based on our publication and quality publications. And they are assessing what? This based on what? Third-party data. And the research output is the most important thing, and the research quality is another indicator. Then another one is international collaborations. So the publication is very important. If you are publishing what? Good journals and high impact factor journals, and your publications are in Web of Science and all, or they will what? Rank the journals based on its popularity and all. If your publications are coming under what? This top 25% journals, then you will be given mark. Like that, they are what? Assessing it. So the point which I wanted to stress initially is that we as a teacher should have of course, primary responsibility is teaching, but teachers in higher education institutions should devote their time and energy and their expertise for what? Research, publications, and our research should what? Lead to what? To patent, and this patent should convert into product or service. So this should be the aim of a teacher. If we are what? Working based on this, we will be able to what? Come into any of what this ranking framework that will what? Definitely attract more number of students and also attract more number of employers. So that is actually the point to be what? Taken into account by seeing this. So then so I think we discussed what a half portion of this our area assigned, and after this 15 minutes break, we will reassemble, and the next portion is institutional, what do you call it, governance and management. Governance and management, how we have to govern an institution, how can we manage an institution to accomplish what the result. So if you find any query, if you have any query on the area which we discussed so far, you please ask. Otherwise, we can stop here, and we will come back after 15 minutes sharp. We will come back by 3:25. We will come back by 3:25. 25. Hello?
Yes, sir. So thank you.
Okay. So
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
we can continue our discussion from 3:25 onwards.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Thank you. It's a tea time. Thank you.
हेलो फ्रेंड्स, एसआरएम क्रिएटिव्स में आपका स्वागत है। मैं आज आपको पीएफएमएस में ये बताने वाला हूँ कि आपका जो बैंक अकाउंट है, आपका अगर बैंक अकाउंट चेंज हुआ है या कुछ दूसरा बैंक अकाउंट ऐड करना चाहते हैं तो आप बैंक अकाउंट अपने पीएफएमएस में कैसे ऐड करेंगे। ठीक है, तो आइए शुरू करने से पहले मैं ये बताना चाहूँगा, आपने अभी तक मेरे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब नहीं किया है तो जल्द से सब्सक्राइब कर ले और उसके साइड में जो बेल का ऑप्शन होगा उसको भी प्रेस करें। और जैसे कि सब्सक्राइब करना बिल्कुल फ्री है, तो आप सब्सक्राइब करने से ना डरें। तो आइए शुरू करते हैं। पीएफएमएस में हम जो बैंक अकाउंट कैसे ऐड करेंगे, तो सबसे पहले आप अपना जो एडमिन का लॉगिन आईडी है और पासवर्ड, उस पर आप लॉगिन हो जाए। लॉगिन होने के बाद में आप लेफ्ट साइड में देख सकते हैं माई स्कीम, ये रहा। देन आपको सीधा यहाँ पे रजिस्टर न्यू स्कीम शो करेगा। मैंने इसमें तो जितना पुराना है अकाउंट वो शो करेगा, लेकिन रजिस्टर न्यू स्कीम में आपको जो नया बैंक अकाउंट है वहाँ पे आपको रजिस्टर करना है। ठीक है, तो ये रजिस्टर न्यू स्कीम और बैंक अकाउंट का पेज आ गया है। तो अभी हम क्या करेंगे, पहले स्कीम चूज़ कर लेंगे। आपको अगर स्कीम का कोड पता है तो आप स्कीम कोड टाइप करके यहाँ से फाइंड कर सकते हैं, या फिर आप सिलेक्ट स्कीम करके यहाँ से मैनुअली आप फाइंड कर सकते हैं। यहाँ पे स्कीम नेम चूज कर सर्च कर सकते हैं, नहीं तो यहाँ पे मैनुअली ऐसे आप चूज कर सकते हैं वहाँ से। देन यहाँ पे आ गया सिलेक्ट फंडिंग एजेंसी। तो सिलेक्ट फंडिंग एजेंसी क्या होता है, एक तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, आपको फंड्स कहाँ से मिल रही है, आपको सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट है या स्टेट गवर्नमेंट है एंड किसी दूसरा एजेंसी है। तो हमारा दूसरा एजेंसी है, तो मैं ये वाला चूज़ करता हूँ। और कौन सा एजेंसी उसको आपको यहाँ पे देना है, तो हम सर्च कर लेते हैं। हाँ, सर्च करने के बाद में यहाँ पे एजेंसी नेम है, एजेंसी यूनिक कोड जानते हैं तो आप एजेंसी यूनिक कोड प्लेस करके आप सर्च कर सकते हैं, या फिर स्टेट एंड डिस्ट्रिक्ट चूज़ करके भी यहाँ पे बहुत सारे आ जाएंगे, वहाँ से चूज़ कर सकते हैं। तो मेरा सबसे ऊपर आ रहा है, तो मैंने
ഇത് രാജേഷ് സാറല്ലേ? സർ, ഐ എം കോളിംഗ് ഫ്രം HRDC യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി ഓഫ് കേരള. PFMSൻ്റെ ഡൗട്ട് ചോദിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. നമ്മളെ ഒരു സ്കീമുണ്ട് 1782 എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സ്കീം ഇപ്പോൾ ആഡ് ചെയ്തു PFMSൽ. അപ്പോൾ അത് PD അപ്രൂവ്ഡ് ഫോർ PD എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് ആയിട്ടുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അതിന് അവിടെ നിന്നാണോ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്? എവിടെ നിന്നാണ് ഇത് അപ്രൂവ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്? സെൻട്രൽ ഗവൺമെൻറ്റാണ്, UGC. അല്ലല്ല, UGC എന്നല്ല, സെൻട്രൽ ഗവൺമെൻറ്റിനാണ് തരേണ്ടത്. അതായത് മാളയ മിഷൻ ടീച്ചർ ട്രെയിനിങ് സെൻറ്റർ. അതെവിടെ? അതാ ആരെ കോണ്ടാക്ട് ചെയ്യണം? അല്ല, അതായത് നമ്മൾ മാപ്പ് ചെയ്യാനേ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളൂ. അക്കൗണ്ട് ഇത് മാപ്പ് ചെയ്യണമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. UGCന്ന്. UGC. അപ്പോൾ UGC ആണ് കോണ്ടാക്ട് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. PFMSൻ്റെ ഇതിൽ ആ ഓക്കെ. അത് നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ഉള്ള ഒരു PFMSൽ നമുക്ക് ഒരു സ്കീം ഉള്ളതിൽ പുതിയ സ്കീം ആഡ് ചെയ്താൽ മതിയല്ലോ, അല്ലാതെ വേറെ അക്കൗണ്ട് ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്തെടുക്കണമെന്നില്ലല്ലോ. ആൾറെഡി ഉള്ളതിൽ നമ്മൾ ഓക്കെ സാർ. സാർ ഇവിടെ ട്രിവാൻഡ്രത്താ? ഓക്കെ. അപ്പം ഓക്കെ. അല്ല, ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ നോക്കിയപ്പോൾ സാറിൻ്റെ പേര് തന്നെയാണ് കിടക്കുന്നത്. PFMSൻ്റെ സൈറ്റിൽ കയറി നോക്കും. അതിൽ ട്രിവാൻഡ്രം നോക്കിയാൽ മതി. ശരി. Hello, sir, Joshi sir. Is it Joshi sir? Sir, I am calling from MMTTC, University of Kerala. Now we are adding the new scheme in PFMS. Hello? Sir, now we add new scheme in PFMS for MMTTC. PD for approval. Kindly approve our email address, please. Mail, sir. Pardon, sir? UGC Finance 6 numerical. Okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, welcome back.
Send it.
Actually, this particular segment we are discussing governance and management, governance and management. And the beginning itself, I told you, government is all going to set or establish a Higher Education Commission of India, HECI. After a Higher Education Commission of India, there will be a single higher education regulator in India, in the place of what? 3 regulators: UGC, All India Council for Technical Education, and National Council for Teacher Education. These 3 will be subsumed, and there will be one entity. That entity will be Higher Education Commission of India. Because Medical Commission, Minister recently explained that Medical Commission of India will be a separate entity, and that will not be going to merge with what? This Higher Education Commission of India. See, Higher Education Commission of India will have 3 major roles, including regulation, accreditation, and setting professional standards. These are all the 3 major roles. And of course, Higher Education Commission of India will work in tune with the National Education Policy of India. 2020, Government of India came out with the National Education Policy. Now we are all trying to implement different aspects of National Education Policy. And the 4-year degree program is actually one recommendation of National Education Policy. And we are all now going ahead with what is implementing this 4-year degree program. So the 4 verticals envisaged in National Education Policy 2020 is National Higher Education Regulatory Council, 1. Then National Accreditation Council, then Higher Education Grants Council, then General Education Council. These are all the 4 verticals under this National Education Policy. Of course, this General Education Council is dealing with the general education, and there is a separate entity for Higher Education Grants Council is there. And there were some hue and cry earlier. We heard that government is not going to what do you call it? This grant will not be a responsibility of this higher education or UGC and all. Now there is a separate vertical in that, in the higher education NEP, National Education Policy. Then higher education, National Higher Education Regulatory Council is the most important body under this in this vertical. And regarding this accreditation, we know this one of the 4 verticals actually. Of these 4 verticals, accreditation is one of the most important vertical. And National Assessment and Accreditation Council will be redesignated as National Accreditation Council. That is actually the point to be noted. So we will have a national NSC, NAC, but here A will be deleted. That is assessment, that aspect will go, and National Accreditation Council will stand. See, assessment accreditation until now has been done based on 7 criteria that we know. There are 7 criteria for this accreditation, which is being followed by NAC actually. Curricular aspects of teaching, learning, and the evaluation. research, innovation and extensions, infrastructure and learning resources, student support and progression, governance, leadership and management, and institutional values and best practices. These are all the 7 criteria that we all of us know. It is on this basis that NAC is accrediting the institutions. Then governance, leadership and management is of course the 6th criterion, and this is actually the point which we want to stress in this discussion. And this criteria of course carries 100 points, and 10% of the total weightage is given for this governance, leadership and management. So governance, leadership and management, of course, some people are saying that more weightage will be given to this aspect. Instead of giving 100, that will be given 150 or 200, because that much importance is there for improving or accomplishing the vision or accomplishment of the overall goal of an organization. Governance, simply, of course, leadership, governance and management, these are all. Governance is actually the way in which the organization is being governed. For governance, we have in universities and all, we have statute, we have act is there, then we have certain rules and regulations there. So it is based on that we are governing or we are managing the enterprise. And leadership management, of course, we discussed, that is actually the act of a manager who is doing certain involved in certain functional aspects to accomplish a task assigned to him. Leadership, of course, it's something different. This is actually motivating or inspiring a group to accomplish the goal. And for leadership and managers, they cannot manage the enterprise, they cannot lead the organization to accomplish the vision without considering the existing rules and regulations. For all the leaders or all the managing people, of course, some freedom is there for their activities, but they will have to work within the existing act or statute. So these existing acts and statutes, of course, these are all there for protecting the interest of the stakeholders. If there is no statute and act, we all of us know, if there is no constitution, or if there is no law, or if there is no personal police force and all, we know what the repercussion and all. Right? If a university is allowed to work without an act or a statute, definitely the leaders may do activities according to their whims and fancies that the institution may derail from its original goal and all, or the inclusiveness cannot be accomplished. So that is why the state legislature came out with some acts and some statutes are there, and these statutes and act definitely protect the interest of almost all the stakeholders. So that's why, though they are leaders, though they are managers, though they are given freedom, though they are applying scientific methods for accomplishing the result, these are all true, but they cannot go away from the existing rules and regulations. That's the point. See, the topics leadership, governance and management, LGM, are closely related and overlapping, also considered two sides of the same coin. So we cannot find a clear-cut distinction between this governance, management and leadership. These are all the two sides of a coin. We cannot separate one from the other, or we cannot say that without leadership we can carry out accomplished things. No, we cannot. Without management we can accomplish things. No, without governance and all we can lead or manage. Yes, to some extent, but it will not complete actually. So as we explained earlier, that leadership plays a role for both governance and management process. To govern the activities, there should be some leaders, or to manage the processes, there should be some leaders. These leaders should be influential, and they will be able to influence the group for accomplishing the goal. Actually, they are not imposing certain things. Some leaders may try to impose it, but that is not desirable, that we discussed. So they may try to use their charismatic, their skill. By using that skill and charismatic power and all, or motivating power and all, or communication skill and all, they will be able to influence. That should be the way of what activity or action of a leader. Higher education institutions leadership refers to the officers of the institutions. See, in higher education institutions, who are all the leaders? Means leaders are actually the office bearers or the officials of the institution. I told you the teachers, of course, teachers are all, though they are not holding any position. After all, they are considered as teachers, but they are actually leaders. They are actually leading what? They are actually leading what the learners. So in that respect, they are also leaders. But HODs or even principal or even vice chancellor, other statutory officers, of course, they are considered as true leaders of higher education institutions. Governance, of course, I told you, governance is nothing but what? Nothing but following what? Rules and regulations or statutes and acts for what? Governing the activity. And a good leadership or a good manager, definitely, as I said, he'll have to follow his own whims and fancies, but or can apply some strategies, but within the purview of the act and the statute existing provisions. So no one is above the law. So everyone will have to obey the rules and the regulations. Of course, they may use certain loopholes and all for accomplishing the result, but they cannot completely avoid this existing rules. That's it. See, higher education institutions governance deals with the ways and manner in which a university or college is organized for the actualization of their objectives. So it is on this basis universities are functioning, and statutes and acts are the basic documents, and leaders or the managers are actually doing activities based on these existing statutes and acts, and the policy makers, I mean the executors of these statutes and acts were or had some idea in mind to inclusiveness and all. So if the policy the managers or leaders are managing the enterprise by considering the governance, definitely the vision envisaged by the visionaries through who were involved in this enacting this act and statute will be accomplished. Then see, we are talking about governance and all. Governance is actually the way organization is governed. Of course, the way organization is governed is based on the statute and act. Good governance. What is meant by good governance? Governance as the process of decision making and the process by which decisions are implemented or not implemented. Good governance is actually the process that has fulfilled or in accordance with certain characteristics. So if we can, and the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific came out with certain characteristics or parameters for good governance. If we can find any of these 6, or if we can find all these 7 parameters, then we can call it as a good governance. Okay. So say government is governing the activities. You can say that governance of the state government is good, or the governance of the present the syndicate or the university is good, if you can find these 7 characteristics. One is accountability. If they are accountable, if they are doing activity very transparently, and they are following the rules and regulations, then they are responsible to the people or to the stakeholders, and they are equitable and inclusive. They are providing equal opportunity to all, and are trying to include all categories of people, irrespective of caste, creed, gender and all. Then effective and efficient. Effective, whether they are carrying out activities by using the resources effectively, or trying to reduce inefficiencies and all. The participation, and if they are participating all, be involved into the system, then we can say that governance is good. So if we can find these 7 characteristics in governance practices, then we can very well say that, okay, the governance is good. So that should be the way of assessing good governance. See, another aspect to be discussed is with regard to governance and management, that is National Higher Education Qualification Framework. So now teachers in higher education institutions are hearing this terminology, National Higher Education Qualification Framework. See, actually, we were giving education, or we were offering what programs, but we were least bothered about what the outcomes of all these educations. Till some 10 years or so before 5, or even before 5 years, or until recently, we were offering certain courses or programs. Now only we are categorizing programs and courses. Earlier we were calling it as a paper in the place of courses, and course means what? Now we are calling a course as a paper. And now earlier we were calling a course means a BCom course, MCom course, or MA course, like that. Now it is called as a program. So we were for framing certain programs or certain courses for each program, and I mean the outcome. We were least bothered about outcome. We were least bothered about outcome. But now we are very much giving importance to this outcome, because we are providing a course, or we are offering a particular program. At the end of this course, or at the end of this program, the student will have to inculcate, or will have to have certain skill sets. That's very important. Then only he can be employed. Then only his employment opportunity will improve. Otherwise, he will get a degree, or he will get a certificate. With that certificate, he will not be employed anywhere. So nowadays, and also as a teachers, we are saying these things to our students, that mark is not at all a criterion now. Mark is actually a criterion for getting admission. But skill set is very important. So if you are doing a particular course or a particular program, the skill set is very important, and the syllabus for that particular course, or the entire syllabus or curriculum for that particular program should be designed in such a way that after this, the student or the learner be competent to do these and these areas, or this learner be able to do this and this, will have these and these skill sets, and he can be employed in these and these areas. So this aspects should be taken into account today. And as teachers, while framing syllabus and all, we will have to consider what? Consider this outcomes. So that's why we are thinking about outcome-based education and all. Okay, and program outcomes, course outcomes, and that will be clearly specified, and that will be known to the teacher, and that should be known to the student. And you will have to create an impression to the student that after this course, you will be getting what these and these skill set. And after this program, you will be getting these and these skill set. So that should be the purpose of what? Purpose of education. And that should be what? The way, or while designing a syllabus or a curriculum, the teachers or the curriculum setters will have to have this aspect in mind. See, NEP 2020 envisages the formulation of what expected learning outcomes for all higher education programs. NEP is very, very particular in that all programs, whatever programs you offer, this program should have what? This program outcomes, learning outcomes, and that will have to be specified. And the teaching learning process should be done to accomplish what? These outcomes. It states that a National Higher Education Qualification Framework, NHEQF, will be formulated, and it shall be in sync with the National Skill Qualification Framework. NSQF is also there, and technical education, we implemented what this much before, and engineering graduates or other technical qualifications or professional programs, the students will have to have their certain skill sets, and in line with that, the other educational programs should also what formulate, should have what skill sets. A national qualification framework, NQF, is an instrument for classification qualifications according to a set of criteria for specified levels of learning achieved. So that's why we are nowadays in our curriculum. See, 4-year program is there. I think you are all aware of this 4-year program. That is the 4-year program. In other states or government of India envisaged the program like this. First year, after completing the first year, exit option will be given to every student. So after first year, he will be getting what? A certificate. After second year, if he is exiting, he will be getting a diploma. Okay. Then after third year, he will get a degree. He can leave the institution. He can exit the program, exit from the program, the degree. Then 4-year, if he is continuing 4-year, and if he is doing certain courses connected with research and all, and internship and mini project and all, he will be getting honors with research. If he is not completing internship or he is not submitting a project connected with a particular area, then he will be getting He will be getting BA or BCom or BSc honors 4-year program. Those who completed honors with research will be eligible for doing research. They can go for research. They can join for research. So thereby they can save 1 year. And a person who is quitting after 3 years, he can join for a regular PG program and he can start from first year. Then if a person who completed 4-year honors without research, he can join as a second year student for PG program. Like that. That is the way we envisaged this 4-year program. And every year, suppose he is exiting after 1 year, he is going to exit the program after 1 year with the certification. He will get certain, and the syllabus should be framed in such a way that after 1 year, he will be able to engage in some activity, and with that certificate, he will be able to get an employment. That should be the way of framing the syllabus. So after 2 years, if he is leaving the program after 2 years, then he will be getting a diploma. With that, he will be able to work somewhere. So that type of outcome will be defined, and the content should be framed accordingly. This national qualification framework helps define learning outcomes, enhance the understanding of education and training systems, and promote the credit accumulation, credit transfer. See, credit transfer, then we are talking about Academic Bank of Credit, ABC, Academic Bank of Credit, and the UGC is coming out with methodology, and there will be a credit bank that will be set up by the UGC, and every institution, if a student who wants to take a credit from another institution, that is also possible. So, and if he is acquiring a credit, that can be transferred to some other institution or some other programs. So the point is, if he is doing a BA program or a BCom program, if he wanted to take another course from another institution outside Kerala or even outside the country, that is also possible. So the credit that he earned from other institution can be transferred here, and that will also be added here for awarding his degree or even post-graduation. That is actually ABC. I'm not discussing much on that ABC because it's that ABC framework. I mean, Academic Bank of Credit framework is very much available in the net, and UGC has come out with a statement how this ABC will work like that. So the point is, here credit accumulation and transfer will also be part of a national qualification framework, and education training systems are more demand focused and user friendly. So the education should be, or the curriculum should be framed in such a way that the learners, after completing the program, will be able to employ somewhere, or will have to get sufficient training to do an employment, and also try to reduce mismatch between education and labor market. See, in most cases, normally while formulating syllabus or conducting workshop and all, there is a direction that apart from academia, you have to invite industry people or practitioners. So their viewpoint should also be taken into account while framing syllabus. That is actually the point. But in some cases, we do not find that mix in workshops which are being called for syllabus revision. So we will have to, as a teacher, we are knowing this theoretical aspects and what are all the things applicable or required in industry. These are known by industrialists or practitioners. So so courses will be designed by considering the requirement of the industry. So that should be the best way of offering a course. If you are offering a course by considering the development in that area and by considering the applicability of that particular aspects in industry, definitely the student will be employable. Thereby, even after completing 1 year or after completing 2 years, even if he is exiting, he will be able to work somewhere. So that should be the aim of this National Higher Education Qualification Framework. If we teachers are following this framework while designing curriculum or setting syllabus, definitely that will help the students to get employment. And the basic purpose of education is economic empowerment that can be attained. So that is the point. Then regarding this board of governance, board of governance, this is actually a disputable area which involves some kind of dispute somewhere. That is, we are all telling that the education institution should be free from political interference. But in a democracy, we cannot avoid political interference as such in education institutions. That is a reality. So the NEP 2020 stipulates that Board of Governance of institution will be empowered to govern the institution free of any external interferences. And all appointments of head of the institutions and the teachers, everyone should be done very transparently without any interference based on merit only. And also, if a new member is coming into the board of governance here means syndicate, we can call. So if any new member is coming in the board of governance, the existing syndicate will have to form a committee, and that committee will have to identify a new member. So, and also equity considerations will also be given while selecting members in the board of governance. That means all representation should be made given in the board. That in most cases we are seeing in Kerala and all. Normally, if a syndicate is constituted, normally we may consider this. We may give some representation to women, some representation to minorities or SC, ST and all. That is there. But the members in the committee should be appointed by the board of governance. And this board of governance will be responsible and accountable to the stakeholders through transparent self-disclosures of all relevant records. So they will be responsible to the stakeholders. So the stakeholders in higher education institutions, we all know that teachers are there, students are there, government is there, then student representatives are there, parents are there, employers are there, even general public. So many categories are interested into the affairs of a higher education institution, and they are called as the stakeholders to some extent. And these stakeholders, so this board of governance or those who are working as the board of governance or the people who are managing the affairs will be responsible to the stakeholders, and they should work transparently, and all matters will be disclosed to the stakeholders. And it shall follow all regulatory guidelines of HCI through NHERC. NHERC, I told you earlier, NHERC is actually one of the verticals in national education policy. That is the National Higher Education Regulatory Council. So this board of governance will have to function transparently, but within the purview of these regulatory councils. Okay, so that is there. So that's this should be the point which I wanted to stress earlier also. That is, management you can manage, or as a manager, what you are trying to do is you are trying to accomplish the activity assigned to you very effectively by applying some management principles and all. And leader, of course, they are actually people who are trying to accomplish the vision through the cooperation or participation of all others. But while doing this activity, you should not leave or should not undermine what the existing regulations. So that is the point which I wanted to stress. You have freedom, you have to do whatever you want, but should be within what the provisions. Then another point to be discussed is this ESG, that is environmental, social, and governance. That's actually a very serious aspects to be discussed today. See, as an education institution, we know of course, some management principles are same, and we can use the same management principles in academic institutions and corporate entities. And these corporate entities and academic institutions are having some responsibility towards the society in which they operate. Okay, academic institutions, of course, they are actually rendering service. But nowadays, I told you, academic institutions are facing tough competition. They are competing each other, and that is why I discussed in the initial stage that we are all now seeing what entrepreneurial universities. That means universities which are working like an industry or a corporate entity aims to make a profit. But all institutions, whether it is a corporate entity or academic institution, they will have to have some responsibility towards the society. See, in a corporate entity, we are talking about social responsibility. Means why they have to take care of the society in which they operate. Why? Because the very existence of a corporate entity depends upon the existence of the people. If you are running a corporate entity in a particular place, you are not considering the interest of the people living there, or you are creating damage to the people there, or you are creating damage to the environment or ecology or this earth there. Normally, you won't get what cooperation of what the people living there. And without cooperation, you cannot function successfully. The same way, if you are running an education institution, or you are trying to manage an education institution, or you are trying to lead an education institution as a leader, without considering the environment or without considering the society, you cannot govern the institution properly. That's why we are saying that there is the governance should be done by considering social and environmental aspects. See, that means that is why nowadays institutions are adopting some outreach programs, and they are trying to provide certain services to the people living nearby, and they are providing certain support services or consultancy to the other entities outside of the organization institutions, and some testing facilities are offered. And also, if the organization is by doing its activity, if it is creating any kind of trouble to the society, they are trying to adopt some mitigating efforts to mitigate the impact of this pollution. So, and also you will have some responsibility towards the employees working there, and you have some responsibility towards the general public. Okay. So that aspect should also be taken into account. So all the stakeholders will be protected. That is the concept of ESG. All the stakeholders should be protected. And while doing activity, of course, as a manager, as a leader of an education institution, you have to have the responsibility to accomplish the vision of the organization, but should not be at the cost of the employees, should not be at the cost for the students working there, should not be at the cost of the society. So that is the point. See, so you have to consider 3 pillars. So what are the 3 pillars of ESG? 3 pillars of ESG include environmental, then social, and governance. So So environmental, social, and governance. So what are all the aspects coming under environment? Energy usage efficiency, climate change strategy, waste reduction, biodiversity laws, greenhouse gas emissions, carbon footprint reduction. These are all the areas coming in an institution. Suppose science labs and some researches will be going on institutions that will not create any kind of harm to the environment or the people living there. Then social means some employees are there in your organization. So in order to accomplish your vision, should not undermine, should not suppress the rights or privileges, etc. of what employees associated with that organization. You have to pay fair wages, equal employment opportunity, employees benefits be provided, healthy workplace will be provided. So some community engagement will be provided. So, and you have to adhere what other labor laws. This is actually what required. You cannot be a good leader, or you cannot manage an institution without what considering what the interest of the employees working there. Then, so the governance, of course, we know that how the organizations are what carrying out the activities. So it's coming. What are the points? Corporate governance, risk management, compliance, ethical business practices, avoiding conflicts of interest, accounting integrity, and what transparency. These are all the governance practices. Means carrying out the management or leadership activities within what the purview of the existing rules and regulations. That is nothing but governance. So while doing this governance, you will have to consider what these three aspects are also into consideration. Then regarding management, of course, management of an institution is very, very important, because as an HOD or as a principal, definitely you will have to have a task. And for each task, you will have to apply certain management principles. And these principles, application of these principles enable you to accomplish the task sometimes on before time, or within the budget, or even what less than the budget, or without what affecting what the interest of others. So as a manager, what you'll have to do is you should try to accomplish the assigned task very effectively within the budget, within the time constraint, without what affecting the interest of what others. That is actually the management. That is actually the management. Suppose once you are elevated as HOD, as a teacher, you are elevated as HOD. Say you are actually elevated to a position and you are actually the first among equals. That should be your attitude. I am the first person among equals. So others are also having certain rights, certain privileges, and we will have to take care of their privilege, their interest. And if a particular person, though 10 people are there, if a particular person is not cooperating, then you cannot accomplish the desired task on time, or some issues will be there. But on the other hand, if you could get the cooperation or confidence of others, no doubt in it, you will be able to accomplish it. So that aspect should be taken into account. And you are actually getting a privilege. Say you are being posted or as principal or HOD or other statutory position, but you should try to get the confidence, cooperation, support of all. And for getting it, you have to cooperate with others. You will have to take their opinion, and you will have to sit with them. You will have to interact with them, and you have to take their points. And you have to you should be ready to is accept your mistakes. So that type of attitude will be needed for managing an enterprise. That is very important. See, in most colleges and most universities, what we are seeing is in reality, in a department, suppose 5 people are there. These 5 people are in 5 different directions. And their attitude, they are having different attitude. There is no coherence in that department. How we can accomplish the task, how we can accomplish the vision of the department or vision of the college, or if all departments are like that, what will be the fate of that institution as such? So this aspect should be looked into. If these things are there, we cannot go for ranking, we cannot go for accreditation, and our institutions will be what? Will be ignored by what? The students. So that is actually the ultimate result. And nowadays we are what? Experiencing this, because I don't know whether it is whether I am correct or not. Most of our students are going outside the state, or most of the students are going outside the country. So many reasons can be attributed, but we will have to think why these people are going outside. What is the reason? How many of us are sitting together, and how many of us are discussing what the reasons behind what this frequent flow of students or a mass flow of students? We will have to discuss. We will have to think. We will have to make change if change is required. So that should be our attitude. That attitude. So the management is actually that field of a human behavior in which managers plan, organize, staff, direct, and control what? Human and other financial resources. So as a manager, what is his responsibility? As a, say, HOD is a manager, of course he is a leader, and a teacher is also a manager, principal is a manager. As a manager, what he is doing is he is trying to manage human resource, and he is trying to manage other resources, other financial resources, to achieve the target within the limited time, or to achieve the target effectively or efficiently. That is actually the management. That is actually managing. The main aspect is managing men and the what? Financial resources. And Henry Fayol is actually considered as the father of modern management. He came out with what? Some principles. He came out with the 14 management principles. And these principles are integral for prediction, planning, decision-making, process management, control, and coordination. See, so managers in an organization are performing so many functions. So planning function is there, deciding things well before. Organizing function is there, arranging what? Resources well before. Then directing is there, necessary direction be given to our different employees under us to accomplish the desired task on time. Then controlling is there, some target will be there, and actually will be assessed and compare actually with the target, and corrective measures will be what? Taken. So like different functions are there for managers to what? Manage human resource, or what they call the financial resources. But these principles are very fundamental to do what? These management functions. To do these management functions, as a manager, you have to apply what? Certain fundamental principles. One, division of work. Of course, commerce teachers who are attending this will be or are having what? Good idea about what these things. And the non-commerce people, please listen, because these principles are very fundamental. It is on this basis. It is on this basis that we are what? Carrying out what? Management functions like planning, organizing, and controlling. See, one is division of work. Don't think that all the activities should be done by us. That is a bad concept. See, some people are saying that, see, if I am interested in this, then they will what? They will not be able to, or that will not go into the way in which we intended. So that type of attitude is there among what? Certain what? Managers, or certain heads, certain principals. So what will happen? They may try to what? Do all the work. See, there is one aspect that we cannot expect expertise on different matters from a particular person. Some people are very good in what? Writing. Some are very good in what? Speaking. Some are very good in preparing projects. Some are very good in executing a particular activity. Some are very good in what? Dealing with what? Outsiders. So as a teacher, or as an HOD, or as a leader, or as a manager, we will have to assess what? The competencies of different people under us, and entrust what? These things to what? Thereby what? The experts can be, so thereby some experts are doing certain what? Area, which is actually what? Singing with their expertise. so they will be able to work.
ഏതായാലും
So
സാർ
that
ആദ്യം മെയിൽ
is
അയക്കുക,
actually
എനിക്ക്
division of labor,
അക്കോമഡേഷൻ ഇന്ന
dividing
വർഷം
the
ഇന്ന
work to different
താമസിക്കും,
people.
ഇന്ന കോഴ്സിന്
Then
സെലക്ഷൻ
by
കിട്ടും,
doing this, they will be given
അക്കോമഡേഷൻ
necessary authority if it is required, and they should also be said that you are responsible for what is. That should be needed.
എന്നാൽ ശരി.
Then some discipline should be
അപ്പോൾ സാർ അത്
there.
വന്നിട്ട്
There should be a
തീരുമാനിക്കും.
time
ഏത്
frame,
വേണമെന്നുള്ളത്
and there should be a
തീരുമാനിക്കും.
cost frame. So they should be
AC
asked
ആണ്
within
കൂടുതലുള്ളത്,
what
നോൺ
this.
AC 2-3
Then
റൂമുകളുള്ളത്.
unity of command. That is another principle. Unity of command means every direction will be what? From what? One person. There should be one command. If a person is being directed by 2 or 3, he will be what? He will be frustrated. He cannot what concentrate, or he cannot do activities correctly. So that is there. So then there should be direction to accomplish a goal. So we are having what? A goal in mind, and all our activities should be directed to accomplish what? That. Then subordination. See, if subordination for individual interest is there, if you are having some interest on a particular aspect, but it is not the interest of others, or it is not the common interest, you leave it. You try to what? Try to accomplish what? Some common interest. So some people are having certain personal prejudice, some interest, so this will have to go in this way, in that way. No. If it is acceptable, if it is not acceptable to others, or the other aspect is what? More good for accomplishing the result, you will have to do that. So there is no consideration for individual interest. Remuneration, adequate remuneration will be given. See, say a number of employees will be working under us. Say contract employees will be there, or some casual laborers will be there, or we may employ some people for some doing some work. They should be given proper remuneration. Should not bargain for what this is, since it is a if it is one-time activity or on-time payment and all, should not what bargain, or should not create some kind of quarrel and all. You what give a reasonable remuneration, or may try to fix remuneration before what undertaking a particular work. Thereby this type of conflicts can be avoided. So then centralization, of course, centralization means activities be what coming from one area, and that will be what delegated to different people. Of course, there is a conflict regarding centralization and decentralization. Some people are saying that centralization is good, and we will have to carry out activities in a decentralized way, and different responsibilities will be entrusted to different people, and they will be given what necessary direction accordingly. That is also true in certain aspects, but certain aspects centralization is required. Some central point will be there, and decisions will be coming from that point, and action will be initiated from that point. That is also there. That will work in certain instances. In other instances, if decentralization is needed, then we will have to what? Go ahead with that. See, in decentralized planning, we are talking about decentralized planning and all. So local self-governments are given what necessary authority to what? Do development activities in their area. That is to some extent it is what? It's working well. Then scalar chain, there should be a line of authority in the organization. That is also needed. So who will be the top? Who will be in the next? Who will be in the third? Like that, some line of authority or hierarchy will be needed. Then there should be an order. There should be an order or for every activity. Then ensure equity among all, equal opportunity be given to all. Then there should be stability in what? Policy decisions. So that is also very important aspect. Suppose if you are making a comment, or if you are taking a decision, that decision should be taken after what? Detailed study. Should not take a decision. Some people are taking a decision without much study, and after that, some people may come against what that they may change it. So once we are trying to change what our decisions frequently, then our decisions will not have any value. So before taking a particular decision, if you have to consider what will be the repercussion or the after effect, and the after effect is very, very high, repercussion is very, very high, then you should be very cautious, and you will have to discuss with all the employees every time. If a particular matter is affecting more than one, then you have to what? You will have to get the cooperation of all before taking a decision. If you are consulting all others before taking a particular decision, then even if there is an error, then the responsibility will not come upon you. So we can very well say that as a manager, we can very well say that we can change the decision, because we all were responsible or are all involved in this decision. So you'll have to what change it. So otherwise what? Otherwise you will be blamed. Sir, you are the only person. You never ever what considered that matter with us. So you took a decision. So you change it like that. So that affects what? The quality of leadership. That affects the quality of management. So if you're taking a particular decision, you try to step on with that. And for that, you have to have sufficient consultation or discussion or study or homework before taking it. Then initiative, there should be an initiative from the part of every management, because that's why we are saying that once you are appointed as an HOD or a principal or as a teacher, you have to take up some steps. Okay, the steps I am not responsible for that. Let others do. No. As a person, as a manager, as a leader, you have to take up certain initiative and try to accomplish that initiative. And sometimes we may have a certain some handicaps or negative remarks about that. You try to solve it out. Then only accomplishment will be possible. So accomplishment will be possible only if you are coming out with initiative. Otherwise, you can simply sit in a chair, or you can simply occupy a particular position, and after completing 3 years, you will be leaving that position. So people will say that we had one HOD, that's all. We had one principal, that's all. But we had one principal and we had one HOD who did these and these things. That matters. So that's why I told you, you should be able to create a signature. You should be able to create a signature. For that, you have to come out with the initiatives. Then expert decops. Expert decops means team spirit. So coherence should be needed. So you as a manager should work as a team. If 5 people are there or 10 people are there under you, then you will have to take the confidence of all and you will have to discuss matters with them. And you should work as a team. If you are working as a team, definitely we can find results. See, in tug of war and all, say there is one aim and all people are in the same word mind, so they will be able to win. So in boat races and all, we are seeing this. Everyone will be concentrating one point and everyone will have to reach that particular point, and they will be working on that. So that team spirit is very important. So if you are applying these management principles in different management functions, like planning, you are planning it with the support of others. You are controlling activities with the support of others. And you are coordinating activities with the support of others. Or you are discussing matters with others for controlling. So everywhere this management if you are performing the important functions like planning, organizing, directing, and controlling, or even staffing through these management principles, definitely you can reach the goal. See, management is all about improving the organizational performance. I told you, because every manager is given a particular task and he is applying certain management principles or applying certain management functions, and he is trying to accomplish the result. And if all the activities, suppose in a year you are undertaking 10 such projects or areas, and all these areas are being, suppose you could accomplish all these areas, definitely that results we can find a result there. And if all organizations are doing the same thing, definitely that results are the overall accomplishment of education institutions. Suppose if education institution is doing this, if all education institutions are doing the same thing, definitely we can find educational empowerment in a particular area or in a state. See, for that, management people, as a manager, these managers are doing various management activities like planning, organizing, managing people, implementing, delegating, communicating, innovating, learning, negotiating, coaching or empowering people, controlling, and providing accountability. These are all the different activities done by a manager for accomplishing what? The task assigned to him.
ടീച്ചർ
So the
അതിനകത്ത്
point is, in most
മേളിലെ
cases,
രണ്ടാമത്തെ റൂമാണ്.
if you can win the confidence of what employees under him,
രണ്ടാമത്തെ റൂം,
or if you are taking care of the employees under him,
റൂമാണ്.
or if you are considering the employees under him, then
അതിൽ
accomplishing the
ടീച്ചർ
task
ഉണ്ട്.
assigned to you will be very,
മറ്റേ
very easy.
മലയാളത്തിലുള്ളവർ
Will be very, very
മൂന്നൂറ്
easy.
മാറിയെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു.
Then
ആ
another
ടീച്ചർ
area
മാത്രമേ
of discussion is regarding what? Financial management. See, as a manager, he is managing not only individuals, but also he is managing financial resources. And most of the leaders are having this issue, or managers are having this issue, that see, we are not being able to manage fund. So many issues are there. See, so many control mechanisms are there. Auditing is there, and we are not knowing what the purchase procedure and all. So whatever activity done, that will be caught by the government or audit agencies. So this type of complaints are very much. We are hearing this type of complaints from teachers or HODs or principals. So we cannot do anything, sir, because of audit. So this type of complaints are there. No. See, you have to have some aspects of what? Fund management. You have to have some aspects of fund management. I should not say you should be an expert in fund management. No. You should have some idea about it. You should not away from what these things. You should have certain small tips. Then if you are going to that, then you will be able to manage what? The finances, the finance available to the department or finance interested to you. See, fund management or financial management is nothing but what? Procurement and utilization of fund. That means how you are arranging money and how you are utilizing money. Arranging money means we can arrange money from different sources, and before arranging money from different sources, we will have to find out the requirements. Should not try to collect more money than is actually required. Suppose we require 10, we have to what? Raise only 10. Even if opportunities are there, should not raise more than 10. Then utilization of fund be done based on what? Certain proposals. If you are a principal, or you are a HOD, or you are a finance officer, or you are even other higher official in an organization, and 5-10 departments are under you, then before allotting money, all the departments will be asked to submit a proposal, and fund will be allocated based on proposals. So that's why we are saying that fund should be allocated only based on what? Based on requirements, not according to demand. People may demand money, but no. The fund should be allocated to them based on what? Their requirements. What is their requirement? That will have to be inquired into. Or you can ask as a manager, you can ask them, you come with your proposal and we will study it according to the proposal or according to justification given by the party demanding what this amount, we will what? Release money. So that procurement and utilization aspect is nothing but fund management or financial management. And here, as an education institutions, fund management means, so we will be getting what? Different allocations. Allocations means some planned fund and non-planned fund will be there. Non-planned fund means actually the fund which is given for paying salary or earmarked for paying salary or for meeting what? Certain non-expenditures. Planned fund means this is actually what? Based on what? The plan proposal of, suppose if it's a university, they are having a plan. Every year they will be coming with the budget, and some budget allocation will be there, and this fund will be what? Given for planned activity. And if the fund will not come, so we are not getting what the expected fund in a particular year, then we may ask the department, see, we failed to get the desired amount, so this time we cannot what? Continue with that project. You please stop what? This project for this year, like that. But non-planned means that cannot be what? That cannot be, that is actually required, that fund will not be what? Expended. Say paying salary or for meeting other expenses and all these are required. So my point is, so for different expenditure you will be allotted fund, and a different fund will be given as an HOD or as principal and all. So you have to spend money based on what? These allocations, and some procedures will be there for what? this fund utilization. And suppose in purchase procedures are there. I'm not going into detail on that particular aspect. Suppose if you want to purchase a product up to rupees 15,000, okay, 15,000, then you can what? You can purchase as an HOD, you can purchase a product up to 15,000 in one way. If you're going for what? Purchasing product more than 15,000 to 1 lakh or more than 1 lakh. So different procedures are there. Some cases you will have to get quotation. Sometimes you will have to invite tenders. So if these procedures are there, you will have to go ahead with that. If you are following a procedure based on what? Allocating fund based on what? This type of existing practices and all, you will not face any kind of issue. If a fund is allotted to you in the name of this audit and all, you are not trying to spend it, you cannot do anything. So if a fund is allotted to you, then you will have to follow the existing practices or rules and regulations and study it. And based on these rules and regulations, you will have to spend money. Suppose DDF, Department Development Fund, is there in university departments and all. HOD is being able to spend 15,000 rupees without any quotation. That's there. So in that case, if you are an HOD and if there is an expenditure for less than 15,000, you can spend it with the permission of a council. That's all. There's no need of quotation. Then again, if you are in Kerala University, suppose in our university, a teacher, a department head can spend up to 25,000 with the 3 quotations. If that is the procedure, you have to spend money accordingly. Then what is auditing? These people are doing it. Auditing people are asking us to keep certain records, certain books, say cash book or some PD account register like that. You have to keep those registers. And as a HOD, as a manager, as a leader, you will have to what? You will have to update it. You will have to verify it, whether the officers in charge of these records are keeping what? These records on time or properly. And they are what? Spending all the expenditure based on what? Proper receipts. And you have to keep that receipts. So auditors are actually checking what? Checking your spending based on receipts, whether these spendings are made within the existing rules and regulations. That's all. If you're doing what? Spending according to the existing rules and regulations, then there will not be any question of auditing, or there will not be any question of what? See, issues, or you will not be caught and not. So in the name of saying my pension paper will not move, or my promotion will be affected, or the auditors will harass me, like that should not. If you are having such a view in finance, then you cannot do anything. So as a leader, as a manager, once you are acting as HOD, or you are going to be a function as HOD or principal, you have to what? You have to keep in mind this aspect that funds are needed for development. If you want to do something what? Innovative in the organization or in the entity where we are working, you will have to use fund. And there should be a regulation or rules and regulation for spending, and we will have to follow what? Those rules and regulations in what? Spending the money. See, and fund management is not centralized around one person. Don't think that fund management is the responsibility of the FO or the director or the principal or HOD. No, you can entrust all for managing the fund. And if as an HOD or as a principal, you are entrusted to a particular fund, you will have to discuss with your subordinates, your teachers, your council. And we received this much amount of money, and this has been allotted for this particular purpose. And how can we utilize this money? Or you can entrust somebody in the department for what? Utilizing it, and asking him, you utilize money according to this. Or if you want any kind of assistance, then 2-3 persons can also be interested for that. And you have to meet periodically, and you will have to what? Assess the progress of what you're spending. And you will have to ensure that these books of accounts connected with what the spending are maintained properly. This is the way. And you have to ensure what? The participation of all. Should not do fund management alone. See, as most of the cases, what I am seeing is, as a principal, he is what? The custodian of all what fund, all finance. No. As an HOD, he should not be. He can entrust these things to someone else. So thereby you can ensure the cooperation or even support of others. And the ultimate thing here is regarding fund management. What I want to tell is ensure the participation of all for what? Sourcing fund and for managing fund. See, sourcing fund is also very important. See, academic institutions, as a teacher or as an HOD or as a leader or as a manager, we have to find the possible sources for what? Money. See, we can approach our students, we can approach our parents, we can approach the society, we can approach other institutions, we can approach philanthropists. So thereby, we as a social institution, these people are also having some responsibility towards the entity, or they are also interested to this entity. So you have to find out different sources, and for that, first you will have to come out with some innovative idea for the development of the institution. And if you're having an idea, workable idea, definitely that idea will work, or you will be able to present this idea. And if it is an innovative idea or a workable idea, or it can give some benefit to the students or teachers or other stakeholders, definitely people, you will not find any issue in raising money. So the point is, most of the cases you are coming with an idea, but that will not work, or that will not be a realistic one. So if you are coming out with an idea with the sufficient discussions in the teachers council or department council, or among PTA members or among alumni members, definitely you will be able to find out what source for financing that proposal. So as a teacher, as an HOD, you also try to find out funds from different sources for some viable projects which will be beneficial to the stakeholders. So that is also coming under fund management. See, we are all discussing about managing the available fund. No, in fund management we will have to explore the possibility for arranging finance also. That should also be the responsibility. And if you are coming out with an idea, should not entrust this responsibility to the principal. No, the principal should be there. He should be a leader, or HOD will be the leader, but somebody can take up the responsibility of sourcing fund, and others can also support. So this way we can undertake some activity. Then another is a university. Of course, we know university is an entity, or a college is an entity. Particularly in case of universities, governance is under the responsibility of Executive Council. Here we call it a syndicate. And academic council is there. They are actually people who are looking into the academic matters. The faculties are there. For every discipline, there is a faculty of management, faculty of commerce, faculty of social science, faculty of arts, like that. Then Senate is also there. Then finance committee is also there. They are actually people who are discussing about budget and controlling, arranging money for accomplishing the budget proposals and all. These are all actually the structure and pattern of governance of universities. Okay, and they are actually people who are governing the organization or entity. And then coming to the people who manage the universities. If you are coming to universities and all, we know chancellor or visitor is there in case of central university and all. So president is the visitor, and in state universities, of course, the chancellor is there, governor is the chancellor, vice chancellor, pro vice chancellor. Then chancellor is there. Then here in Kerala, pro chancellor is also there. That's the education minister is the pro chancellor. The vice chancellor is there, pro vice chancellor is there, dean's register. These are all the people who are in the realm of university setup, and they are actually managing the enterprise. See, another one or two small points will also be discussed as part of our discussion. That is 5W2H analysis. Have you heard about this 5H2H analysis? 5W2H analysis. See, 5W means some W. Here we mean 5Ws include what, why, where, when, and who. Then 2H includes the how and how much. Okay. This is actually a strategy formulated for managing a project or an activity. So everywhere we are coming out with a different activity. Suppose we want to construct a building, or we want to construct a library hall, we want to construct a computer lab, or we want to construct a small stadium, or we want to construct what you call the audio visual room. So in this case, as a manager, as a leader, we will have to think about what? These 5 W's and 2 H. So suppose if you want to do it, what will be done to encounter the competitor's plan? Suppose if there's a competitor, or there is another school or a college which is coming out with a new idea, then we will have to think what will be done to encounter that competition. Why will it be done? That means justification of the plan. Then we will have to have an idea about what ideal location of the plan. Then timeliness, when will it be done? Then responsibilities of action, who will do what the responsibility. Then what are the processes involved in what undertaking this? Then how much will it cost to introduce what this new thing? So these questions will have you have to, before coming out with an idea or a project, as a manager or as a leader, you have to ask what? You have to try to answer what the following questions. You have to answer what the 5 W questions, and you have to answer what this 2 H questions. Okay. So what, why, where, when, who, and how much. So this is called the 5W2H analysis. For every action, every project, before undertaking it, as a manager, you will have to apply what? This, or you try to find the answer to what? These things. Okay. Then we are coming into the last part, that is leadership, governance, management, and strategic issues. See, in academic administration and governance, political issues and strategic issues are common. See, political issues are everywhere, because I told you, in an academic institution, we cannot leave what? The political interference. Political interference is there, because in a democracy, we cannot avoid what? The interference of political parties or political issues, and they will involve it. And to some extent, their involvement is good, because they are all, if they are working democratically, or they are, if their aim is to protect the interest of the institution as such, then their interference will give us what? Good result. Moreover, in a democracy, see, political leaders are leading the country, and if you are having some involvement, if you are being able to involve some political people into the administration, definitely with their support we can do what? So many things, because they are having good access with what? These political leaders or rulers. So with the support of these political leaders who are being part of what? The system, we can accomplish certain things. But too much political interference, of course, will not be beneficial. That is actually the different what you call the writings very well say that too much political interference will not be beneficial. But if politicians see, we are having good politicians, we cannot criticize all politicians. Some politicians are good politicians, they are having some academic interest, they are also being part of the academic system. They are coming out with innovative things based on their experience and all. They can come out with innovative things, and they are having good what you call the contact with the administration, many rulers. So with their support, we can do wonders. That is also there. So that's why political issues are there, strategic issues are there. The strategic issues has a significant role in what? Leadership, governance, and management. The strategic issues may be core issues, then peripheral issues, direct support issues, and indirect support issues. This is the way we are classifying what? The strategic issues. See, core issues are actually the heart of each and every university. That is teaching and research. It's a core issue. So in a university or in a college, we are very much concentrated on teaching and research, because through teaching we can impart a skill, and through research we can come out with what? New product or new idea. Then peripheral issues are there. Peripheral issues means what? Knowledge and technology transfer. and academic education, lifelong learning, because this knowledge and technology transfer is actually the order of the day. We are all trying to produce result through research, and this results should be transferred to industry, and the industry may try to convert that knowledge into product. So that technology transfer is there. That's peripheral issue. Then direct support issues are also there. That is regarding what? The promotion related issues, personal development issues, training related issues, then management information system issues. Then indirect support issues are also there. That is statutory issues, finance and controlling, organization support, planning and strategy, facility management, marketing and public relations, gender and diversity, quality management. These are all actually indirect support issues. So as a manager, as a leader, as an HOD, or as a principal, or as a vice chancellor, you have to concentrate on all these issues, core issues, then peripheral issues, direct support issues, and indirect support issues. So these are all actually what? Very significant in what? In governance and management. In governance and management, these issues are very important. So you will have to give much thrust on what? These issues. See, a micro foundation of what do you call the leadership, governance, management in universities. We can see macro means institutional logics is there. Institutional logics means institutions are having what? Certain vision, certain goal, certain mission, and all. Then authoritative texts are there. Some here act and statutes are there. So we will have it to, we are trying to what? Accomplish this what? Vision. Without what? I told you, we have all the freedom to do management or leadership, but we should act within what? The purview of that and statute. So authoritative tests are very important. Then organizational actors, you are actually considered as organizational actors. Okay. And these organizational actors will have to what? Carry out dialogues with what? Different parties. And this triangle, that is micro patterns, that is organizational actors will have to have a good dialogue with the what? Other stakeholders within what? The purview of act and statute. Then another triangle is the institutional logics, then there is vision, and there should be actors called vice chancellors, pro vice chancellors, registrars, and all, and they will have to work within what? The text. So this is actually what? This is actually a what do you call a structure, or it's a framework, and organization will have to work within this framework. So there are actors, and they will have to have good consultation with what? Stakeholders, and they will have to have a vision, and they will have to have what? Work within the act and the statute. This is the point to be what? Discussed, and this is actually the conclusion with regard to the point which we explained so far. That is, so based on this discussion, we can come to a conclusion like this. See, we all know that organization, there is a stagnation in public funding. That is a reality. Governments are facing financial issues. Every university is facing financial issue. And that is not an isolated issue of a particular state or a particular what we call a university or institution. For that matter, there's a shortage of public funding. So as a teacher, we will have to engage in serious research, we will have to engage in serious publication, and we will have to come out with the innovative idea, and that idea should be transferred to the industry. The industry will try to produce product. So, and also as a leader, as a manager, we will have to explore maximum possibilities for arranging fund. We will have to source fund from different places. Then increasing student enrollment is also an issue. Increase students enrollment. See, we want more universities, we want more colleges, okay, because our people student ratio is very, very high, because 24 or 26, 27 students, we are having only one teacher. So that in advanced countries, the ratio is very, very less. So then, and a rise in both competition and cooperation with industrial research. That means some It's a tough competition between institutions. They are trying to create different collaborations and all. So because of all this, organizations or universities or institutions are trying to find out new ways for what? Organizing and governing higher education. So these issues created a challenge. And because of this, institutions are facing some challenge. Why? Why these institutions are facing challenge? Because of what? Shortage of fund, increased student enrollment, and rise in competition among institutions. And some institutions are trying to cooperate with the industries. And some institutions are not being able to reach with industries. So this creates a kind of chaos or kind of cutthroat competition or some issues. And this resulted a shift from what? Collegial governing practices. I told you in the beginning, that is a Republic of Science. It's popularly called as Republic of Science. That is, Republic of Science means here decisions are taken collectively and there should be a coherence, there should be sufficient cooperation. And that now we can find a shift from what? This Republic of Science, that is collegial governing practices. Now we are seeing what? New managerialism. I told you in the beginning, new managerialism means it's a managerialism going towards what? Corporate leadership or corporate leadership styles or management, business-like leadership styles and all. So academic institutions are now following new managerialism. There is a shift from the collegial governing practices. That was the practices earlier we followed, but now we are coming into new managerialism, which favors business-like leadership and management styles. This leads to entrepreneurial universities. So entrepreneurial universities, of course, these are all institutions which aim to make what? Profit, and in which these institutions may accommodate or admit students by charging huge amount of fee. And their interest is what? Not empowerment or economic or social empowerment of children, but rather they are interested in generating money. See, in foreign universities, we are talking about foreign universities, and in Kerala also, number of foreign universities are planning to establish their centers here, because here a huge number of students are going out in foreign countries for getting education and all. Because in Kerala particularly, here there we can find a large number of middle income group. They are all giving much importance to education, and they are ready to shed a huge amount of their income for educational purpose. By considering this, number of private players are coming to Kerala, and the government is also entering into some dialogues with these institutions. And in other states in India, we can find a number of private entities like Amity University and all. See, what they are doing is they are offering courses. Of course, they are good courses to some extent, but they are charging exorbitantly high fee. That affects what? The inclusiveness that we are talking about. That affects the inclusiveness. That affects the equity. So the point is right towards leadership. That means effective leadership. Then good governance and management in higher education institutions will help to make higher education the bedrock. I told you in the beginning, bedrock for national development. So higher education institutions should be considered as a bedrock for national development. That is very much needed for the economic, social, and political empowerment of a country. But nowadays we are seeing what? We are seeing the number of institutions who are coming here with a certain entrepreneurial mind. So that will affect what? The inclusiveness that we are talking about. So in order to control this, every education institution should have what? Righteous leadership and a good governance, and should have a good management team. That is the point which I wanted to stress. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you were not telling anything. That's why I continuously discussing. Okay, if you have any doubt on the area that we discussed, you please ask.
Sir, I have one query, right, in governance. Like,
What's your name?
whenever, sir, I am Philomena Simon from University of Kerala.
Yeah, Philomena Simon. Okay, tell me.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, when we take about our enrollment ratio, the tribal students and also the scheduled caste students are very much less in when they actually register or enroll for a particular course. So, how a good governance can increase their student enrollment ratio, or what all things could be done to ensure, because generally in our university also, like SC seats will be it will be vacant many of the times. So what good governance could be implemented so that we will actually take this all tribal students or the scheduled caste students to the forefront on the higher education? That's my question.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So the point is the governance is actually what we have it as a manager or as a leader, as a leader in an academic institution. What we have to do is we have to have certain rules, statute, acts. Okay, and this act is giving, or the statute is very clear that this number of students be reserved for this category of students. So we teachers or leaders are trying to follow this while managing the institution. We will have to follow this governance practices. So the point is, in most cases, we are not being able to fill these vacancies, because we are all, as per rule, we have to advertise these seats at least 3 times before filling the seats to some other category. Okay, that is true. And governance as a management people, or as the people who are will have to engage in governance, the first thing is they will have to ensure that whether these seats are being given to this category, one, whether we are following the rules, existing rules. That means whether we are giving 3 advertisements before giving these seats to OEC or OBC or other categories. Okay, and that is the first responsibility of a teacher who is working as a HOD or a principal, for that matter. Then number 2, we will have to intimate these facts to the university authorities. This is actually the situation we are confronted, and these are all the seat position, and this is actually the seat which we filled in. So thereby they can communicate they, as the top policy making body, they can come out with certain idea for including this category also. But in most cases in Kerala, what we are seeing is these category students are not there not there, and we are not finding the students and who are actually some minimum amount of qualification is required for getting admission in these seats. Even then we cannot find sufficient number of students who belong to this category and who are not coming for opting this particular course. That is there. But as a manager, or as part of a good governance, what we can do in our level is this: we have to ensure that their seats are the earmarked seats are given to them, and also we are following the existing rules for admitting this category of students. And if we are not getting that number of students, then we can intimate that fact to the higher level of policy making body. They will liaise with the government, but no seat should be should be vacant, because if some other category students are there, they will have to be given this opportunity, and this seat should be considered as a backlog vacancy. Next year, if any student is coming in that category, they will have to be given preference. That can be one of the strategies, or that is actually one of the strategies. And it is based on that government is now issuing a direction that after 3 advertisements, if you are not being able to fill their seats, then that can be given to OEC and then OBC category, and that should be considered as a backlog vacancy. Next time, If two students are coming in the same category and there is only one vacancy for SC, then the backlog vacancy can be given to what? This additional candidate. This is the way. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, one more question is like regarding in management. Sir, you told about the different principles that we need to follow if we are in a topmost position in higher education sector. So, if a particular seniority person, if a senior person, uh, s- uh, how we'll be able to resolve a particular conflict management or something like we cannot actually tell forcefully to that particular person, even though we are an HOD. So, how can we resolve such type of things?
See, the issue is this. Once a person is elevated as an HOD, he should consider that I am the first person among the equals. Okay, I'm a first person, first among the equals. That is it, and that is why we should teach, or we should give training to all the teachers that, see, once we are elevated to a particular position, we have to consider all the subordinates equally, and we will have to give them what? Equal chance, and we will have to entrust them responsibility, we will have to delegate to them, we will have to get the confidence of them, and if we are wrong, we should be ready to what? Correct our mistake. If they are coming out with an idea, that will have to be accepted. So these are all the fundamental things. In most cases, people are managing things without what? Following these fundamental things. That is actually the issue, which is what? Which is being, or we are seeing what these issues everywhere, because these people are ignorant about what? The fundamentals of management. That's the point. See, we are following certain practices without following this, and we are not getting any output of it. Thereby, we are lacking coherence. That's why in the beginning itself, I told you about what? The beginning itself, I told you about this value-based leadership. So we have to follow value-based leadership, and we will take confidence of others. See, junior, senior is not at all a matter here. Once a particular person is elevated to a position of an HOD or a principal, we will have to give them respect, and he will also be responsible to give respect to what? His subordinates. In police department and all, so they are using some autocratic style, but you know that there is a distress, there is a issues that we are hearing every day. So in civil service offices, they are doing it. Of course, they are competent, qualified people, but in most cases, they are not delegating powers towards subordinates. So that will not work, particularly since they are all police, some orderlies there. But in academic institution, this will not anyway work, because all are qualified, and the only thing is some are having some year of experience, and they will have to think that, see, this is actually an opportunity and obligation. We are interested to a particular thing, so it will have to be what? Accomplished. That accomplishment is possible only through the support of others. Okay, here junior senior matter is not all there. Even a junior teacher is coming out with a new idea, he will have to have the tolerance to receive it and accept it. That should be the attitude.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you.
So any